Hello, moviegoers, coming to you live from Ray's Boom Boom Room in Burbank, California. This is Film versus Film. I am one half of your host, Quinn Boys. I think a well-known film fan, film lover, I've seen at least like 24 movies in my lifetime. And I'm joined by my co-host, Leonard Smith Jr.
That's me. I'm getting there, you know. Movie Pass helped, but then it went out of business, and I feel like I'm partly to blame.
You've only ever seen movies in the window of time where Movie Pass was a thing. That's right?
That was me. That was it. Or, you know, I'll try to, like, go on dates and hopefully, when I say dates, like, I mean, I'll go to someone's house and hopefully watch a movie on their Netflix because I don't have any streaming services or even a television.
Yeah. Yeah, you see all of your movies through windows.
Yeah, instead outside of people's houses.
On shops where they have 10 TVs stacked in an arrangement, and that's where you get all your breaking news. We are hosting Film versus Film because Leonard and I grew up around the same time. We were exposed to the same movies. We have similar tastes, but as we've kind of discovered so far here with the podcast, through a series of different prompts, we have different answers to some of our favorite movies or just some of the most frequently asked questions about movies. Like last week, Leonard, what did we talk about?
Oh, wow. We talked about best road trip films. It could be, you know, something you want to watch on a road trip, or the film could be, a road trip could be occurring in the film. And Quinn purposefully tortured me and made me watch the film Homeward Bound.
It's a lovely movie.
Which is like so caringly and beautifully brought to you and filmed garbage. Family garbage. I'm not a family man, so.
Your answer to the same question was Vegas Vacation, which was the fourth vacation movie. You could have given me any of the first three vacation movies, but you gave me Vegas Vacation. So two very different
garbage.
movies.
That was some hot, unclassy garbage.
We decided through a rigorous debate and criteria selection that your film was the slightly better road trip movie. I have to give it to you.
I finally won one.
You won one. It's 2-1. We are keeping season scores for reasons that we will get into later once we figure them out. But let's just get into this. What was our prompt this week, Leonard? We talked about it a little bit at the end of last week.
Oh,
this one's an arbitrary one. You can't just pick a movie. There is a specific answer that you have to go with.
This week we're talking about the first movie we snuck into. Can't really choose. You can't. There really is no choosing. It is what it is. And my first movie that I snuck into was the movie Life. It was 1999. Times were good. We all thought the world was gonna end in the year 2000. But you know what? I was like, if it is, I'm gonna take some chances. You know.
So you saw the movie.
I'm 12 years old, and I'm gonna buy a ticket to the shit ass movie that I've never seen, October Sky. And I'm going to walk into that other movie theater with Life above the door. And man, it was a good time. I was way too young to be watching this movie. I watched this movie Life, and I think this is probably the beginning point where I said nigga every other word, or like at least once in every sentence, because there's a lot of niggas in this movie, figuratively and literally. It's a great film. It's about Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. Actually, okay, it's a great film. It's about, I'm upset. I just get upset because black people just get done wrong in this entire film. It's about Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence wrongly being accused of a black man's murder who's killed by, surprisingly, a white police officer. Yeah. And they go to jail for life. They're two men from New York. And man, New York gets a lot of slander, I feel like, in this movie.
For sure.
They're two men from New York who get caught in circumstances that were kind of partly their own fault because they like to gamble and they're just not good with money. Look, they just became, you know, this is the first generation of not being a slave and having your own money. So it's tough, okay? So they owe this mob boss some money. They go down to Mississippi to pick up some hooch. It's 1932. You couldn't have paid me to drive to Mississippi in 1932 if I lived in New York, but they had to do it. And there they get caught. And someone kills some man, and next thing you know, they're in prison for life. It's a prison in Mississippi where basically it's slave labor, and they're stuck there. There's no fence to jump over or escape. This ain't Shawshank Redemption, but if you want to escape, your ass is getting shot. And you're out there in the Mississippi woods and you don't know where the fuck you're going. You're from New York. Anyways, it's a great film. It's funny. Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy, fucking comedy gold together. I mean, how could it not be? I'm surprised that they don't have any other films together. I don't think they do.
They have great chemistry.
Great chemistry.
And it is like the movie that you just described, listening to the plot, you'd be like, oh, this is a very serious, kind of like not self-important, but like a very important movie about, kind of the chronicling an era and kind of all the things that multiple eras, and all the things that you mentioned. But then you say it stars Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, who it can't help not also being funny and in moments light and like,
I feel like someone was high watching Shawshank Redemption. They're like, yo, hold on. What if we made this
we could
movie,
lighten this up.
but it had Eddie Murphy in it.
There's the great example, I think, of like mixing the kind of serious material with like comedic take is, I thought, or it's one of my favorite scenes is with the pie, the white people pie, where they go and they stop in Mississippi and they're not served because it's
and Claude is just like, he's using logic.
Yeah.
And rationale. And it's just like, no, that doesn't work here.
And Martin Lawrence, he gets Claude. He gets very, you can tell he's a character that hasn't experienced this before, probably living in New York, at least not so overtly. And Eddie Murphy is a little bit more of a like grifter character in the beginning, so he knows how things are. And him trying to get Martin Lawrence to leave, but Martin Lawrence getting angry and being like, oh, this pie is for white people, do you have pie for black people? It's a very it works. They work really well together, and they're able to make that scene both like serious and very funny at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, any scene that ends with "I'll turn you into nigga pie," come on.
It's just 35 miles down.
Is this 35 miles that way?
Okay, yeah. Well.
No, see that you're right. It's like a way to present something lightly, but also like still educate people and like make people aware of like situations that maybe they never really thought about or realized. Black people being wronged, unjust. Like the court scene is just instantly them like, oh, guilty, and they're going to jail. Like there's no really, they were there, but there's like no murder weapon or anything like that. But they get to jail and they're just trying to get the fuck out of jail. Claude tries to, they don't even really know in the film. They don't know each other. They just happen to get put together.
Circumstance throw them together. Yeah, Eddie Murphy actually does a solid for Martin Lawrence, who's probably going to get drowned, and then they get paired up together on that hooch run down south. And when they get arrested, they get thrown into the same prison. So they are like not friends at the beginning,
and they kind of blame each other.
Yeah,
for the situation that they're in. And next thing you know, they try their chance at appeals. Doesn't happen. So now it's just like, all right, we're stuck here. They eventually start trying to escape. They try to escape a good few times. Eddie Murphy tries to fly a plane. He tries to fly a plane to escape and crashes the plane, but yet apparently is fine. Doesn't die.
There's a huge explosion. A huge mushroom cloud of like not just smoke, but fire rising up over a tree line. So it's taller than trees. He just took like a small little plane. And then they just cut to him with like soot on his face being thrown into the hole. It's like that's like a Bugs Bunny logic.
Yeah, there's for sure some like cartoon logic in this film. And so they basically just deal with it, and they adapt, and they realize that they're stuck. Claude is a big baseball fan. You think it would get a little repetitive, a little old, but they find ways to make it funny with the whole baseball and can't get right. Oh man, that's just like a great comedy thing. Oh, I also forgot about the fact that no one can read in the prison camp until Claude and Ray get there.
There's that great scene where Eddie Murphy, this guy who's been on the camp before them forever, had gotten a letter 4 months ago. He doesn't know who from because nobody at the camp can read, but Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence can read. So Eddie Murphy reads the letter, and it's just all his family members. All this poor guy who's been holding on to this letter for 4 months, is all of his family members have died. And he doesn't say it like that. He just goes sort of listing. It's like, oh, your mom, they're dead. They were in a car. Like, and it's just the worst news this guy could ever read. And then there's the great line after, once he's finished reading it.
Anybody else got something they want read?
And then everybody just clutches their.
No.
It's the fellow prisoners are great. There's a lot of like Anthony Anderson is in this movie.
Bernie Mac, Miguel A. Nunez.
Yeah, it's
even
a great
the guy
cast.
who like watches them, the Uncle Tom guy is hilarious.
Yeah. He's I just saw he was in Lodge 49. He's great.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, still got
I
work.
saw him on the show All American.
Yeah,
it was pretty funny.
No, it is. It's a great cast. Even like R. Lee Ermey from
the Scout.
Yeah, Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
He comes back as like the older version of the racist cop who put them in prison, and so it.
Yeah, he gets theirs. There's one specific cop that you're supposed to hate.
Yeah,
and it's like what I hate about this. It's like a great movie and it's funny, but I fucking just hate the movie because black people are just done wrong. They're stuck in jail the entire time. And then they get out at the end. They find a way to finally escape at fucking 96 years old. Yeah, They're literally 95 and like 96 years old.
Covered in like pounds of prosthesis, like just fake like makeup and great.
And then, wait, they escape and where are they? They're at a Yankees game.
They're at a Yankees game. I love that.
Did they get tickets to fucking Yankee Stadium? How did they get to New York?
So the late 90s Yankees, those are hot tickets.
Bro, how'd they have the money to buy these motherfucking tickets? It's just... It makes no sense, and it just pisses me off. They just try to end this shitty-ass movie where two black men spend their entire life in prison, and then they try to end it on a high note like, hey, they got to go to a Yankees game, and then they died the next day.
Presumably they died the next day. They were quite old. No, you're right. I mean, it's like the most silver liningest of happy endings. They've already, I mean, there's a line in the film where they should have been cleared like 25 years before, but the governor or the mayor, whoever they were kind of working for, he dies in his sleep. But he says before he's going to clear him, he goes, nothing can make up for 40 years because they had been locked up for 40 years at that point. And I think that is kind of the message of the movie. I think you're right, though, that they pitch it as too much of a like movie cinematic happy ending. Like, they're free, but it's definitely more muted if you stop and think about it. They've had their lives taken away from them. There's no amount of time they could have going forward could equal the amount taken away looking back. And then they just ended at Yankee Stadium, and that most 1999 was like, what would you do if your son was at home? It was just God. Like, it was a kind of like incongruous with everything that had come before, and they were like, this movie might be kind of depressing. Let's like jack up the happiness right at the end.
Right at the end. It was some bullshit. So that pretty much pissed me off. But overall, great movie, funny movie. Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy do their goddamn thing. Bernie Mac, hilarious, jangalang.
The chemistry alone from Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy makes it worth it for sure.
And talking about two guys with some great chemistry.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing. It's the only thing that is the same about both these movies is they're built around two comic leads who have
there's also
chemistry.
something the same about both these movies.
Yeah,
white privilege
for sure. I mean, we say we answer the same problem so differently. I don't know that that's the gap has been wider than you answering what movie did you sneak into Life, and then I snuck into Wedding Crashers, which I wasn't. Is it weird that like is 14 too old to sneak into your first movie?
I don't think so.
It was like in my hometown. It's not the first rated R movie I've seen. This movie came out in 2005. It was a big deal. Everyone, like, I remember before it came out, it was like, oh, Wedding Crashers, this is great. Like, Owen Wilson had been in a bunch of comedies with Ben Stiller, and Vince Vaughn had just been in Dodgeball. Like, they were kind of,
Bro, at the time, Vince Vaughn was my favorite actor.
He was the guy. Yeah, exactly.
All about
this caught them both at like the height of their powers. You had to see this movie, especially if you were a 14-year-old teenage boy in suburbia. And so this was weirdly like the one time the movie theater that we'd go to checked ID, probably because there was a little bit of controversy of like, this movie is misogynist, which is true. It's, sex, it's all these things. So I think like my movie theater was like a little bit more like, we're going to enforce the rated R, you have to be 17 rule. So I bought a ticket to something else, I don't remember what, and just went in and watched it because it was
classic sneak into rated R movie.
And it really, we'll get more to it later, but what better movie to crash than Wedding Crashers? It's a movie about people going where they're not invited, against the rules, but it's light, it's a light rule breaking.
You can only crash weddings if you're white.
They are probably a lot less suspicious. These guys, yeah. Can we just get right down? People have seen Wedding Crashers. Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn crash weddings. They go to so many weddings where they stick out like sore thumb, like, which is not to say that every wedding looks the same, but they're like going to an Indian wedding and they use Indian first names and stuff, which is possible, but it's like these guys are just very, like you say, if you're white and you're non-threatening, people will just be like, sure, nobody's ever seen these guys, but they're just here for a good time.
Oh, they're so witty. Look at those quips they're throwing out. You're one of the family.
They don't try to crash a black wedding in that montage.
They
Did you
do
notice
not
that?
try to crash a black wedding.
They do?
And I said they do not.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
They do not. I think that should be Wedding Crashers too.
Sure.
They
What, them trying to crash a black wedding or a black wedding crasher?
Hey, Owen Wilson, I just want to say, Black Lives Matter.
Oh, God. All right. Probably for the best. They left it out. Yeah, I mean, this movie was, I think, there were issues with this movie then, which as a 14-year-old I did not care about. But watching it again, I feel like, the 40-Year-Old Virgin came out the same summer as this movie. And I saw them both, and those were both like huge comedies at the time, especially for me. Wedding Crashers has aged so much worse than 40-Year-Old Virgin. If you were to rewatch 40-Year-Old Virgin, there's some stuff, but like Wedding Crashers, it's like a lot of it is you look at it and you're kind of like, ooh, it's just men tricking women.
I'm going to talk
sex.
about it when we get to the criteria later.
All right. But we're not here to. I'm just going to state early, we're not here to discuss which movie is more appropriate, which movie is better quality. We're here to discuss what's the better break into movie, and I think I still have a strong chance to win. There's a lot of, and I'll say this also, the stuff about the movie that doesn't age well is kind of in the plot or in some of the lines, but some of the characters. But the casting is great. Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn do really have great chemistry. They really do. I feel like Rachel
Vince
McAdams
Vaughn
was on the come up. Ela Fisher was discovered in this movie, or I don't know. This is where I found out about her, but.
Bradley Cooper's in this
Christopher
movie.
Walken. I mean, it's a great. When
cast. I saw Christopher Walken, I forgot Christopher Walken was. I was like, "Fuck, I might not win this." Christopher Walken's in it. God damn it.
We're not even mentioning the scene stealing Will Ferrell at the end of the movie as Chaz, the godfather of wedding crashing.
Literally the biggest piece of shit on the planet.
Yeah, crashing funerals. That's the sequel.
It's like the sequel was. Him and Kevin Hart. What's that movie where they go to prison?
Oh, is that movie really named Get Hard? Because that's what my brain is telling me.
What I was gonna say about, I feel like Vince Vaughn carries Owen Wilson a little bit at points in this movie.
Well, Vince Vaughn is a tornado of just energy in this movie. Like everything, he's like shoving food into his mouth, or he's just speaking a mile a minute, which is like the shtick of the movie and has been his shtick in other movies. But it's so turned up to 11 in this movie that there's multiple scenes where characters just kind of go like, what? Like they just cut to characters doing a double take while Vince Vaughn is talking because they're like, what the fuck is it? This guy's just going and going and going. Literally.
And I was like, damn, I kind of forgot about that. Like that he literally was just going. I was like, I feel like some of it was so funny that obviously it had to be written, but I feel like some of that had to be improvised. I don't know. He's just kind of wild. But he had to gain like 15 pounds doing this movie.
Oh, yeah.
He had to gain 15 pounds doing this movie. It was wild.
He was, yeah. I mean, it's how many times they mention like crab cakes or just like finger foods? Like it's the wedding culture, man. If you went to a wedding, if you went to 40 weddings over a summer, like these guys seem to, you'd probably gain a lot of weight.
Yeah, like his character didn't only care about just having sex with random women. He also cared about the food.
Yeah, he seems like Vince Vaughn seems like a Vegas performer who's like out of work, like a Vegas show guy who like just needs to be on, and weddings are a great venue for that. But yeah, the opening montage is really the most iconic. They like talking about being bold at the weddings they would crash. They would also then once inside, like for comedic effect, they would like cut the cake with the bride and groom or give co-speeches together to the bride and groom as they know them, and no one ever knew who these people were. Because if you and I were to break into a wedding, we would hang in the back. We're not trying to like get everyone to notice.
One of those rules, though, you can't hang by yourself and be sulking. No negative attention.
All right, we'll talk a little bit more about the movies as we go, but I'm glad that you were paying attention to the rules, Leonard, because we're gonna do some games in the middle of our episode. I think I've got some trivia for you. You have some trivia for me. Is that right?
Yeah.
I can go first since we're on Wedding Crashers. We're letting it go. Why don't we do one question from me, one question from you? We'll go back and forth.
That's what we'll do.
And you know what? The points, whoever wins, that'll tip the scales maybe slightly in favor of your film as the best sneak-in movie. We'll find out. Unless I lose, in which case I don't want to do that. All right, so this is just simple trivia. They reference a list of wedding crashing rules in Wedding Crashers. In fact, it was like a big. I feel like it was part of the advertising campaign, and like some people in college when I got to college still had the posters of like 100 wedding crashing rules, and you could read the list, and they like made a bunch
I remember
up.
these.
Yeah. So, but I'm not going to make you remember a college.
I remember that.
I'm not going to make you remember a college poster. I'm just going to go with rules that were stated in the movie.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 2 that were real and 1 that's fake.
Okay.
And you got to spot the fake.
Okay.
All right. And I'm going to wait to hear all 3 before you jump in, okay? Because
gotcha.
Build suspense. Wedding Crashers rule number 16. Always have an up-to-date family tree. Wedding Crashers rule number 32. Don't commit to a relative unless you're absolutely sure they have a pulse. Wedding Crashers rule number 12. 3 is company.
Which one is the fake?
Which is the fake one?
3 is company.
Yeah. I don't think I sold it that well.
Okay.
3 is because like a threesome.
Got you.
You know?
I probably should have started 4 first because I have 4 and I just really want to do 4.
Do 4. I don't care.
Okay, here we go.
All right, so you won that first question.
I'm going to give you... so now mine is Eddie and Martin get to prison and they are... It's the classic scene where they're in the mess hall area, food area, and they're talking about what crimes they've all committed. It's always going to happen in any movie, show, prison show. So I'm going to give you 1 real reason and 2 fake reasons. And I want you to figure out which one is the real one.
Also, you can do all 4 of your questions because I can pull a 4th question together. So, okay. So you're going to give me... All right, wait, you're giving me 2 fake and 1 real, and I spot the real?
2 fake and 1 real. Opposite. Because there were very few real reasons because there were only so many characters.
That's fair. All right.
Okay. Here we go. 1. Killed his brother with a skillet and fed him to the hogs. 2. He poisoned his parents. 3. He parked his car next to a white family on Easter Sunday.
Those all sound plausible because there's some ridiculous ones. I'm pretty sure it's killed with the skillet, fed him to the hogs.
That's your choice?
I'm picking the real one.
Yes.
Yes, that's my choice.
It was poison their parents.
What? The skillet one's not right?
I made that up.
God, that was good. You sold it. Maybe I should put the fake one first. Damn.
Okay. So I got the first one right. You got the first one wrong. It is now your turn. Quinn is he looks very like.
I was so confident. I feel like
upset right now.
I feel like all right. Well, I'm gonna pull my 4th one together out of a couple other Wedding Crashers rules stated in the movie. So same as first one. Spot the false. I'm not gonna give you the number because that might jog your memory.
No numbers.
Just gonna give you the rule.
No numbers.
Never leave a fellow crasher behind. Play like a champion.
Okay.
Start a fight with the best man.
Ooh, shit. I feel like it's play like a champion or start a fight with the best man. I'm not gonna lie. I watched Wedding Crashers a lot of times when I was younger. If it was like 2007, I would have said my favorite movie was either Super Troopers or Wedding Crashers because I was a tool. Here we go. I'm going to say, which one is the fake one?
Yeah, which one is not? Which one did I just make up?
Play like a champion.
Oh, my God. A come from behind comeback for me. Start a fight with the best man is not in the movie. Play like a champion is, I thought like, it's no excuses. Play like a champion, I think is something that Vince, I don't know, man.
He does say that.
He says it. I think it's sourced as rule 76. I don't know.
Damn it. I just wanted to give you one. I
appreciate you letting me back in. All right.
God.
Give me the next one.
The best man just sounded so ridiculous because this movie is just so fucking ridiculous, man.
I don't know why it's now that I'm thinking about my own question, you probably wouldn't want to start a fight with
Okay. That's right. We're trying to figure out the real one. There are 2 fake choices, 1 real choice. Shot a piano player for playing the wrong song. Skinned their landlady and made a jacket out of her.
Jesus.
Held a door open for a white lady and looked her in the eyes.
I think it's the first one again. So there's one of those is real.
Yes.
What was the first one you said again?
Shot a piano player for playing the wrong song.
That's the one I think I remember, but I was so confident about it the first time.
Quinn watched this movie last night. He was high, as was I when I watched Wedding Crashers.
I was not. What is...
He was not high. Or was he?
I'm starting to find... Maybe if I was, I would have retained it better. It's not piano player?
Is that your choice?
You're screwing with me right now.
Is that your choice?
Leonard is looking at me very accusatorily when I'm picking something, which is psyching me out. Yes, it's my choice, piano player.
It was. Skinned his landlady alive.
Damn it. It's always the most gruesome one.
I know, they were very gruesome. So maybe you'll get the next one, noticing the trend of how gruesome they are.
Should have watched with subtitles. All right. I now need you to...
I just love Eddie's just like... They're like, what are you guys in for that? Oh, violent crimes, hoping to violent crimes. We murdering spree. We just on a murdering spree. We just killing all types of folks all over the country.
Martin Lawrence is like his hype man. He's like, yep, that's right. I swear, I just watched this last night. All right, I gotta stop watching these movies and then going right to bed, as I think. I'm gonna give you a harder one now because I need you to lose. So I'm just gonna give you a couple of the names that they introduced them as in that same montage when Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn enter the church or synagogue or what have you. They say,
such a good montage.
So and so and so and so. Nice to meet you. Sometimes they give a profession.
Okay.
I'm just gonna take those intros as they were stated. You have to tell me which one is wrong. So you're still spotting the false.
Okay.
Sanjay Collins and Chuck Vindaloo. Seamus O'Toole and Bobby O'Shea. Arturo Badalamenti and Mario Vespucci. One of these pairings was not used by Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn to introduce themselves.
100% for sure. The first one was used. I know that.
So Sanjay Collins and Chuck Vindaloo is out.
I know Bobby O'Shea is like a hockey player.
I don't know.
Fuck. Okay.
Seamus O'Toole and Bobby O'Shea. It's between Seamus O'Toole and Bobby O'Shea or Arturo Badalamenti and Mario Vespucci.
Once again, the last 2 are so fucking ridiculous that they had to have said it. The other 2 are ridiculous, but I feel like you created them. So I'm going to go with O'Toole and O'Shea.
Is fake.
Is not the one.
Right.
Yeah.
Wrong. Seamus O'Toole and Bobby O'Shea was said at the Irish wedding. They go, Seamus O'Toole and Bobby O'Shea, I'm here to get drunk. And then Owen Wilson walks off screen.
Oh my God.
There was an Italian wedding, so I kind of threw you there. But Arturo Badalamenti and Mario Vespucci were not names used.
You did a great job with that.
Thank you very much.
Because those are fucking ridiculous.
I needed you to miss that one.
I just can see them saying that. Fuck. Okay. Okay. All right. I've lost count. Wait.
Neither of us have paid very close attention to the movies that we watched, it seems.
I
thought I did, but I guess I did. You've gotten one and missed 2. I've missed 2. But you got a third question for me, so I can make it up right now.
All right. Jesus Christ, my hands are sweaty. All right, here we go. All right. Chopped his sister in the head with an axe. Drowned his mama in the Mississippi River. Cooked a meal that was too seasoned for a white family.
All right. Your white family, your third one always being about white people, while funny, is good because it immediately disqualifies it from me. One of them will probably be right.
Helping you out. You're still getting them wrong.
I have a smaller pool to pick from, and I'm still picking wrong. God. All right. Drowned his mother in the Mississippi River. What was the other one?
Hold on. Drowned his mother in the Mississippi River. chopped his sister in the head with an axe, and they
Right.
cooked a meal that was too seasoned for a white family.
God, I already know I'm gonna pick the wrong one. I'm gonna just say, because of the gruesome thing, final answer: chopped his sister in the head with an axe.
Ding, motherfucking.
Yes, yes.
His line
in it,
after that was,
tied up.
"She was my half sister, so I chopped her ass in half." It was radio.
Makes sense to me. So, last part, again, all from that opening montage, Leonard. If you weren't paying attention to this opening montage, you really got screwed. And in fairness to you, they do throw a lot of information at you.
Yes, they do.
It's hard to retain. But,
And they show all the different women they sleep with.
yes, there is that montage of topless women falling back into bed, which is probably why they policed me getting into the movie a little bit more strongly, and I had to sneak in. Yeah, just gratuitous boobs in movies back in the time where that was much more common. Still, like, one of those things you see now, you're like, oh yeah, they don't really do that anymore.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, I'm sure. They don't do it for Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn anymore.
No.
All right, these are professions that were given. So we've done rules, we've done aliases. These were the professions. They were not given with the names. There was a separate montage where they're dancing and they're like, I was one of this. And all the women are like, oh my gosh. You know, they're charming them by lying about what they do. I'm going to give you 4. One of them is fake.
Okay.
Scaled Mount Everest. And I should say these are used by either Owen Wilson or Vince Vaughn. It doesn't matter who, just
All right.
which one was not used by either of them. Scaled Mount Everest. An astronaut who visited the moon. Fought in the French Foreign Legion. Or played with the Yankees. Yankees coming up in both of our movies.
So I'm choosing. There's
Which-
only one right answer.
No. 3 of those are correct. One of them is wrong.
Okay, I know the Mount Everest is correct.
Yes. Well, actually, why am I helping you? I don't know.
Fuck me. See, Quinn made it hard for me. I was like, I just really hope Quinn didn't pay attention to this one scene in the movie. I had to pay attention to the entire film. Actually, it's just a montage.
It's the same
It's just a
montage.
montage. Well, it is a great montage. Okay. They are all so fucking ridiculous.
Right.
Okay, Vince Vaughn is tall as fuck. So I'm going to say the Yankees is also correct. Yankees, Mount Everest. I'm going to say the moon is incorrect. I'm just going to say it. There's no way they won.
You're right. You're right. The moon is incorrect. Nobody ever said they were an astronaut. But played with the Yankees. So there's that scene where they're kind of like, we lost so many good men. And they go like, you know, they kind of cut back and forth between them dancing with different women. It's like, Mount Everest, weren't you scared? And he goes, we were all scared. We lost so many good men. And it's like French Foreign Legion. And he goes, yeah, we lost so many good men. And then Owen Wilson, it's like, and then they just cut to him going, we lost so many good men. And the woman he's with is like, playing for the Yankees? And he goes, yeah, to trades or, you know, there's like other teams, injury. So.
Oh.
Well done. But
Vince.
if I got one, if I get your next one, then we both end up with 2, and this is a wash. We've just wasted everyone's time. So, God willing, I will get this one, and you have another hilarious.
That's what we're here
white
for,
props
wasting
that
your
will-
time.
All right.
All right. Fuck. I feel like you're going to get this one. I shouldn't say this one.
Arturo Badalamenti and Mario
Stabbed his
Vespucci.
best friend with an ice pick.
Stabbed his best friend with a nice pick.
Killed Salvation Army Santa Claus.
Yes. That's the one. I don't even want to hear the third one. I'm mocking it in. Salvation Army Santa Claus, man. They have a
Son
whole
of a bitch.
they have a whole riff on it. He says he
That
killed
was like the one they like spent the most
He
time
says he
on.
killed Santa Claus, and he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Well, not Santa Claus, but one of the people at the holidays who rings the bell." And it's like, "You killed the guy collecting money for the Salvation Army." What did he say?
He was like, it might have happened.
It's funny because all those characters are so lovable, and the first scene you're introduced to them, it's like, I chopped my sister in half with an axe so she'd be my half sister.
I was literally thinking about that. Like, wow, all these guys are terrible.
Like
So,
Eddie
I mean,
Murphy and Martin Lawrence are innocent. All these other guys are guilty as hell.
I guess both of these films had something in common. They both have shitty people in them.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to the 5 criteria. Leonard, we are classy film sophisticates. We like to sort things into criteria. We've talked a lot. I think we're kind of neck and neck right now. So these will help us figure out which was the more worthy choice of a movie to sneak into. The first one, as usual, influence on pop culture. Leonard, I'm sorry. I think Wedding Crashers takes this one going away.
I don't think that at all.
Okay, all right, let's get into it.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I still to this day hear it from a hella different people, and I said, "You gonna eat your cornbread?"
That's fair. That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Jangalang, jangalang, jangalang. Also, everybody knows it is hot on Twitter. It's hot in the meme game. The Anthony Anderson wiping the still shot of him wiping the pole when young.
Oh yes.
Like,
Sally Mae or something.
Sally Mae comes back and he's like, "She got the gams."
Young Anthony Anderson this movie. It's good seeing him.
Yeah, young fat Anthony Anderson.
I kind of forgot.
I can say that because I am fat as well.
I kind of forgot that, like, you know, because I'm now, like, when I think Anthony Anderson, I think Blackish, but like that's how I used to view Anthony Anderson.
He was big. He was
Kangaroo
pretty big.
Jack. Agent Cody Banks.
You keep saying Kangaroo Jack and Cody Banks is like, I don't know what you're
Those
talking
are his
about.
most famous roles. Right.
I've never seen these films.
Right, I'm derailing us. The cornbread scene,
I don't stand
agree.
outside of white folks' homes because that's dangerous.
I'll let you in next time.
I'll stand outside of black people's homes and watch their TVs. That's it. Anyways.
Okay, is the cornbread scene is your main guess? Because I have a counterpunch to that.
Okay. I mean, I feel like I don't want to do it
also
the pappy scene. I the pappy, and like I don't know if that's very big in pop culture, like wide range, like nationally, but I feel like amongst black people that's still kind of a big thing. Like I be that baby damn balls.
Oh yeah.
Like,
well, that's a great scene. That's like the I Am Spartacus scene where they just all take the blame or the credit, whatever you want to say, for having gotten Sally Mae, we think.
But go ahead, hit me with your counterpoint.
3 words. I think it's my closing argument for pop cultural influence of these two films as compared to one another.
Okay.
3 words. Ma! The meatloaf! Come on. Leonard, I'm not even saying it's good, man. I'm just saying you still hear people say that.
Ma, I just hate him so much.
It's a catch-all. You can say it if you're having meatloaf. You can say it if you're just angry at your mom. You can say it if you're just exasperated. I'm not saying it might a little bit be Borat, my wife, but it's a viral earworm. It's a meme before a meme.
I feel like it is, and I feel like him sitting on the couch has been used in the meme.
The GIF is used a ton. Yeah, it is an actual meme. Yeah.
Yeah, a good. Yeah.
Him just sort of looking back and you never see the mother, and it's laid in the film. So the reason it's memorable is not this, but I do actually remember rewatching the movie when they first talk about Chaz, way before you meet him, way before you find out it's Will Ferrell. They're talking about him, and he's like, Vince Vaughn thinks he is a god.
Yeah,
the guy who invented Wedding Crashers. And Owen Wilson's like, this dude is sad, which is correct, which we find out. And Vince Vaughn's like, he's had sex with over however many women. He's done all these weddings. And Owen Wilson's like, I thought he lives at home with his mom who poisoned his meatloaf. So then later when you meet him and he's just so ravenous for this meatloaf, which the only thing we've heard is that his mom is slowly poisoning him. I mean, there's other stuff too.
See, I feel like that's probably really big culturally for white people. Yeah. Because that is not, I don't think that's that big.
It's not.
But I know it is.
It's
big.
not used every day in my life. I'm just saying it's
Neither is fucking. I still probably drop the cornbread like at least once every 6 months.
All right.
But okay, I mean I know there's some good.
But do you have meatloaf once every 6 months? And when you have it, do you think, Ma, the meatloaf?
I don't have meatloaf that often. Actually, I don't live with my mom. I haven't lived with my mom since I was like fucking 12.
All right.
So, okay,
so we're deadlocked on this. We're deadlocked a little bit. We'll come back to it. Because how well does it hold up?
Quinn has literally one reference,
and
it's a good one.
Is I think strong enough.
It's pretty fucking strong though. All right, so
no excuses. Play like a champion. Also, people say. 2, how well does it hold up, Leonard? I'm going to give you this one.
Yes, you do not. There is no question.
I'm going to give you this one. We can move on.
Okay, because like literally all my notes in this film is just like white privilege. This form. Do you want to have?
I'll give you
this form of white privilege.
I'll clear out and give you space. I'm just conceding the point now. Tell me about it.
I mean, first of all, Sack. Fuck Sack. Like Sack is.
Bradley Cooper is a fucking dick.
Oh, he's a huge dick in this movie. Obviously, they're gonna have to be dicks, but he's just like the.
I kind of like that. He's like the. I mean, I don't like the character, but I like that he's like the. In these movies, it's almost like a. If everyone was younger, it would have been like a kind of a teen movie, like a National Lampoon or something. And in these movies, there's always like the frat that's a dick or whatever. And this guy is of that ilk, and he just plays that dude on steroids, and it's not subtle. And I appreciated that they're like, we know what this character is. Let's just do it 150%. But yeah, he's a terrible character.
But what I just don't understand when like films do that or shows do that, it's like, and then like the girl's supposed to like be in love with like Owen Wilson, who's so lovable and like
Owen Wilson is just trying his best in this movie to look Rachel McAdams' age or age
it's
appropriate.
like, well, how did she get up with this dude in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But anyways, that also I love Vince Vaughn and he does a great job in this character. But Vince Vaughn there'd be like so many allegations against him right now. This man just grabs people and kisses. He kissed the priest like right in the mouth, like just like unasked.
He's very handsy and very mouthy. And no problem just straight up lying to women to get them to sleep with them. That's true of both of them. But Owen Wilson's character is the one that they give like a little tinge of regret.
Yeah, when he doesn't remember the girl's name.
He's not saying we never should have done this. He's just saying we might now be getting too old.
Yeah.
He's like,
he says her wrong name, and he's just like, oh man, I feel bad now.
Yeah, that's his whole arc.
All right.
So I'm giving you that one.
You
can keep going off about it if you want, but we can move into 3 if you'd rather.
Third one. Come on, the great Samuel L. Jackson.
Was
he in your film?
In this film,
he was in neither one of our films. Surprisingly,
yours makes sense. I don't
especially
know.
Mine.
There are
it would not make any
Crashers.
sense because black people can't be in Wedding Crashers. Apparently, was there any black people in this movie?
I don't remember, so that's not good.
Oh wait, there was the butler.
I think you're absolutely right. I think Samuel L. Jackson could have fit well in this movie, and I'm going to give you mine because I think there are a lot of options for yours.
In Wedding Crashers?
Yes.
Okay, where?
It would have. Yes, I agree. They did. I'm just saying there's a role that if you were to give Samuel Jackson, I think he would have made hay.
Okay, tell me. Oh, it would have been the butler?
No,
oh, okay. I was like, okay, what would it have been?
They're going to make him the butler. Does the butler have any lines?
He does. He has he's like the scene where he's like, I'm watching my stories.
Oh, yes.
And then he like lets him into the club to get beat up.
That's right.
But no.
Oh, yeah, he's like the one. Okay, sorry.
What role was Samuel L. Jackson playing this?
Sack the boyfriend. No. He would play Christopher Walken's character. He would have killed that part. Yes, the kind of white waspy New England family thing falls apart, but you can restructure it, whatever. I just think like you make the changes you need to make. I love Christopher Walken in this movie. Don't get me wrong. I just think it would have been different, but also funny if Owen Wilson was trying to wedding crash and bamboozle the daughter of Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh yeah, fuck no, dude. That would have been hilarious. Honestly, when we were talking about this earlier, and I was saying it, I feel like they should. I mean, they can't make it now, but it would be great if there was like a black version of Wedding Crashers.
Yeah. I mean, why not? They remake. A lot of property is up for remakes. 2005 is not that long ago, but stranger things have happened. There have been 3 Spider-Men since then.
Yes, there have.
Samuel Jackson, who do you think, do I usually supposed to answer for my own movie? It doesn't matter. Who do you think Samuel Jackson would have been?
I feel like Samuel L. Jackson would have fit great in this film. I feel like he could have even been a lead in this film.
That's what I'm thinking. Like it's almost like not wasting him, but like he's a bigger star than most of the guys, even though Bernie Mac and people would go on to be bigger. Like at this time, he was too big a star to just be one of the ensemble of prisoners. It feels like. Yeah. But it's you're not going to kick off Martin Lawrence or Eddie Murphy, so I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like if he was going to replace anybody, it'd be Eddie Murphy, the Ray character, because he's the more angrier, like shiftier. Because Claude's like I'm a bank teller, and I'm like square and shit.
He's the square,
you know what I'm saying?
Which is never Samuel Jackson has never played.
Or Samuel could have played the
the
Uncle Tom
because Django.
Guy. Yeah, because of Django.
He kind of did play that character.
Yeah, he literally has played that character. And he did it too well of a job, maybe.
I think that's actually the best answer because the guy who plays him is great, but I think that probably would have been a bigger part if it was Samuel L. Jackson, and it probably would have been. Sure. They would have examined. They did not examine at all that it was a black man basically enforcing the rules of the prison. There was a warden who was, or whatever his role was, who was white. But this guy was always the one who had the shotgun on them and stuff, and that's a complex.
Did they not ever say something about him having the gun? There was a scene where they ended up holding the gun. They were like, and they just give it back to him.
Right? No, you're right. I guess I just mean like I think it would have been less of a thing like more of a plot point, maybe a little bit more depth to the character if it's Samuel L. Jackson. Just because he's a bigger star, you probably want to flesh it out.
Surprisingly, some of the characters in this movie, for the comedy that it is, I'm talking about Life, do have some depth.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a very Woody Murphy. What the hell?
Woody
Eddie
Murphy.
Woody Murphy.
Woody Harrelson and Eddie Murphy had a child.
Woody Harrelson could have found a role as like one of the racists in this movie.
Oh yeah,
I love Woody Harrelson. But
Woody Harrelson is great. He's also short.
I think Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence can't not be funny together, but the fact that the film never feels like a comedy that's trying to be serious, but it doesn't work. Like it's able to shift so easily because they also both give really good performances. You believe it when they're anguished as well, but when they get together, the two characters rapport, it's just so good that they just give each other shit. You can't help but like laugh and kind of have the movie lighten up in those moments.
Yeah.
Wedding Crashers does not walk a tonal tightrope of the same kind. All the romantic comedy stuff sort of just feels like forced in. It's like, and the movie's 2 hours, it could have been like 15, 20 minutes shorter.
I forgot. That was going to be my point, that this movie, Wedding Crashers, was too long.
Life is short. Life, which is about an entire person, two people's entire lives, is shorter than Wedding Crashers.
It's like 145.
Yeah.
Wedding Crashers for sure should have been at least 20 minutes shorter, or not at least, but like for sure 20 minutes.
You
shorter.
could have lost 20 minutes.
It got way. It's like, how can you be so chauvinistic and then be like so sappy? At the
I
same
think that's the problem.
time?
Is the movie felt like it had to earn these characters back, so it puts these like love scenes where Owen Wilson's biking to the beach with Rachel
McAdams.
Rachel McAdams, and like. It just feels sappy and it doesn't feel earned because it's like we just saw these guys have a montage where they flung topless women onto bed. Like, yes, of course the characters can change, but like you can't be sappy and crass at the same time. It doesn't blend nearly as well.
All right, so the next category, which we maybe should have changed, is stats.
Yeah, let's just do a quick box office round. We don't need to go that much into the reviews. Wedding Crashers was like very well reviewed in its time. I do remember that. And I think if you were to release that movie today, there would be a lot more justifiable nitpicking. But Wedding Crashers was undeniably a hit, Leonard. I'm going to let you search for the box office information for life. But I can tell you Wedding Crashers made $288.5 million.
Yeah.
An R-rated, which was not that profitable at the time. This kind of changed the rules on that. An R-rated comedy with two big movie stars, but comedy is not like Marvel movies. Like 288.5 on a $40 million budget is like, how did they not make Wedding Crashers?
It's fucking stupid, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. I'm also kind of surprised. It felt like the budget would have been bigger than that for like some of the shots, and like they're on a fucking sailboat.
It looks really great. Like in terms of just like the production value for whatever reason, like they set up a bunch of weddings. They go to like the
that's what I'm saying. All the weddings,
the New England island escape of the mansion. Like the production value is there. They spent all $40 million, but
and then they made a grip. This is fucking insane. I'm sure a lot of this probably went to maybe casting,
right?
Because what I'm about to talk about live. It literally, this is wild. Try to just, how much do you think it, just give me the numbers.
I bet Eddie Murphy in 1999 had a huge chunk of money, and you seem.
What do you think was the box office and the budget?
Oh, man. I'd say, again, I'm going to say like Eddie Murphy maybe got $15 million to do this. I'm just going to throw out a high number.
Okay.
But he was still obviously a big movie star in 1999.
And Eddie Murphy was still pretty. I mean, and Martin Lawrence was very big.
Martin Lawrence was coming
not
off Martin,
as big as Eddie Murphy,
but he'd yet to do. Yeah,
he had his own show.
Yeah,
for sure.
Specials.
He had Bad Boys. It was before Bad Boys 2, though.
Right, Bad Boys. You're right. Yeah, so he would have been a movie star and he would have made money. Anyway, I'm going to say $50 million.
Is the budget?
Because you were so surprised by it.
I know. Okay, yeah, I kind of gave it away.
I would think that the budget, if I was just calculating, like probably 30. Okay. Just because I think Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy got paid a lot of, like, straight up. But box office, I'm going to say $50 million. I'm going to say it broke even.
Okay, so you're going to go 30 million, 50 million?
No, I'll stick with 50-50.
50-50?
Yeah.
Well, you're pretty on with keeping it close.
Okay.
It actually lost money,
surprisingly,
because white people don't want to watch about black people being wronged and being in prison their whole life, even if it's funny.
White people prefer Eddie Murphy as several characters who are
they prefer him as exactly. But you were off. This fucking movie cost, I don't know how, it was shot on the same fucking plot of land, it looked like, $75 million.
Get out of here. Wow.
That one shot over Yankee Stadium probably cost about $10 million.
Yeah, they didn't have to buy out all
the
seats
the whole
in Yankee Stadium. That probably could have knocked $20 million off. But
$75 million?
Wow.
And then it made $73.3 million in the box office.
All right. Well, it's more money than I was giving credit. See, I knew that white people didn't see it more than you because I was like $50 million. I don't remember this being a hit. 73 is not bad unless it cost 73 to make, or 75, which it didn't need to.
They would have made 73.3 million, 73,300,006 dollars. Had I not I actually paid for the ticket.
Yeah, you're talking about white people don't pay to see the life.
I didn't pay to see this.
Come on, man. All right.
All right, so stats, I guess we're going to have to go Wedding Crashers.
Wedding Crashers, yeah. I think. We both walked into these movies, so it doesn't matter. That's the real stat. Which movie is more worth the risk? All right, this is basically the last question. It's going to wrap up the criteria. Which is a better movie to sneak into? Leonard, I have to come back to Movie Crash. Wedding Crashers it's just, it's kismet. How do you not give me the win?
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why right now. First of all, if you're going to see Life, you're probably black. If you're willing to sneak into a movie, which they'll probably arrest you for, and then probably throw some other shit on, some other fake charges, you could possibly die if the police come. That's a lot to risk to see a movie.
God damn it.
Also, what white people are going to see this? What white parents are going to let their white teenage son, daughter go see this movie?
Life?
Yeah, no one. So you know what? You got to fucking be like, fuck you parents. Fuck the whole system. I'm sneaking into this movie and I'm seeing what it's like to be black. What it's like to be wronged.
You're looking at me again.
All right, fine. Quinn dead in his eyes right now.
I picked this movie and I was like, this is a slam dunk.
Dude, when you picked it, I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then because I loved Life. I hadn't watched it in a while. It was the first time I actually watched both movies. And I was like, oh shit, I think I'm going to win this. When I was like, the criteria is sneaking into the movie, I was like, oh yeah, you have to sneak into Life. If you that's probably why I made so little money.
If I was down 1-2, I would be fighting you to the death. That Wedding Crashers is the most.
Nobody wants to sneak into a movie to learn how to be chauvinistic and be an asshole.
It's not about wanting to see it. It's about like what is the more like, oh yeah, that's a movie you sneak into.
Yes, for sure. If you're a teenage boy, you get to see some titties. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a teenage girl, you also get to see some titties.
Sure.
Vince Vaughn is hilarious. He shoves a lot of food in his mouth.
Yeah.
But
this was like a couple movies before we were like, oh, Vince Vaughn's too much. All right. So
yeah, but it also was very sappy and like.
Yeah.
If you're a teenage boy and you're sneaking into Life, it's like, bro, they're dropping some curse words. There's some there's murdering. There's like, you know what I'm saying?
It has more of the R-rated movie staples. I'm talking about Wedding Crashers that you think about when kids sneak into movies, like to see boobs or to hear curse words or to see Owen Wilson call Vince Vaughn Baba Ganoush. But Life is, it's probably the experience you would take more out of. I'll give you that, and I will give you the win because we are running long. And because I'm still confident 2-2 that I'm going to get you the rest of the way. So you're dancing right now.
Holy shit.
And
we also forgot one thing, though, which basically makes mine a slam dunk.
Yeah, when Michael Jordan see this movie. You know what? Michael Jordan has never had to crash a wedding in his life because every wedding that Michael Jordan shows up to, can't be anonymous and he's immediately beloved.
Yes. He doesn't go to weddings. He just sends the presents.
Just take the win. All right.
Michael Jordan, he probably was like on set for Life. Let's go.
It's amazing Michael Jordan wasn't in Life, actually, as a cameo. So
it was 99. He was retired.
Yeah, if you take the plot where Bokeem Woodbine, who plays Can't Get Right, who's the baseball player, he's really good at baseball, but he's a little bit slow mentally, and they kind of help him get signed to a Negro Leagues team.
The Pittsburgh Crawfish or some shit like that?
Yeah, maybe it was just an independent team.
Crawfords?
Anyway, if you take that story and you replace it, it would be anachronistic with the era. But if you replace it with a player who's really good at basketball who doesn't speak, you'd get Michael Jordan, who doesn't have to act and can just slam dunk in the middle of this movie. And it lifts right out. So I'll give it to you. I'll give you the win. Leonard, just tell us what the next week's prompt is going to be, because I'm going to win.
2-2, baby. And just to let you know, we're going to be doing seasons of 9 episodes in a season.
Yeah, 9 best of 5. So we're almost at the halfway point.
We're almost at the halfway point.
You can't. There's got to be a winner over 9 contests. Can't be even.
Let's go. We'll figure out what the loser has to do. Winning is just great.
I think you have to watch Leonard. You love Green Lantern. This is like we're already running long. We don't have to.
Okay,
guess, but I'm going to do it now.
Don't
Green Lantern related.
Don't slander me. Okay. All right. So the next week we are going to be talking about the biggest mind fuck. As a young adult, teen.
Yeah, we said from adolescence.
Adolescence.
So we're
when
qualifying
you're a young
like
adult,
if
you don't really watch
over
mindfuck movies.
15 and you watch a movie, your mind is not blown in the same way as when you're a kid and you're like, oh, have you seen this movie? I hope neither of us are going to pick Donnie Darko. I'm going to use the example. But if you're just like, have you seen Donnie Darko? It blew my mind. And you're just like talking about it with everyone. It's like, oh, this kid just watched this movie and his mind is blown and he's going to be annoying for a little bit. That's the kind of movie we're trying to get.
That was me, but I was like 19. I fucking love Donnie Darko.
I haven't seen it. I got to watch it.
You've never seen it?
No, but so I won't be picking it next week.
Damn, that might be my choice.
Fuck. All right, well, then I'll see it. That was fun. I'm a sore loser, but back at it next week, and it was a good movie. I'm glad that you gave me life. I'm glad that I didn't have to sneak into it. Yeah,
Wedding Crashers was fun to watch again. I hadn't watched it in so long. All right, man, we're going to get back to Ray's Boom Boom Room, get some drinks,
all right.
Throw a little craps.
Sounds good.
You guys have a good day.
See you at the movies.